Okay, I have this chat window here. So Chaitanya tells me there are 84 students in the class. So let's say we have students from 00 to 84. What we are going to do is each of you have to shake hands, and definitely not every one of you can shake hands with every other students. Yes, I have admitted him in the show. So what we are going to do is I'm going to share this spreadsheet. Let me quickly share it also. Just okay. I'm going to make all of you the editor of this list. I have copied this link here and I want to paste it in the chat window. Okay. So can all of you just open this link? So there is a spreadsheet. I want each of you to open this spreadsheet. Okay. Can all of you, as the very first task, can all of you just type your roll numbers here? So the last two digits of your roll number in the ascending order. So you should figure out which is the respective row for your roll number and just go and type it. So I'll make it last two digits here. Okay. I see a lot of overlappings. Very good. Guys are quick. So I don't have roll number 4, 6, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So ensure you type your own roll number. You need not worry about the second and third columns. Just fill in the first column with the last two digits of your roll number. Meanwhile, can anyone guess what we are trying to do? Abhinav says permutations. Okay. Any more guesses? Definitely, I'll use it for attendance, no doubt. Attendance. Okay. Attendance. One more says attendance. All the remaining students are absent. Roll number 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17. I see very few people here. No one from roll number 25 to 29. Okay. Towards the end, I see many people here. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 more minutes. After 2 minutes, I'll lock this sheet and no one will be able to make any changes here. Okay, someone who is actively participating can also fill in the other roll numbers. For the people who couldn't access the sheet because of some reason, just go and fill all the entries. So let it be all the numbers in ascending order from 1 to 84. Is Shrikar a very popular person in your class? I see so many Shrikars written in the number of buddies. Who is this person typing, Shrikar? So if you are not interested in participating the activity, please do not do some foul play with this sheet, because I'm going to use it for teaching an interesting concept to you and important also from the perspective of your exams. Okay, still many entries are not there. Okay, so I'm going to fill all these entries here. Even some numbers are missing from between. So what happened here? Roll number 10. A very simple task given to you. It's been 10 minutes since the lecture started. You just have to write all these numbers in the ascending order. Roll number 10 is missing. Okay, now this sheet looks almost done. So one has gone after the other. So if somebody has entered his roll number in the incorrect location, everybody entered their roll numbers at the incorrect location. Okay, I have correct sequence till 42. Is everything correct now? 67, 68. Okay, you can do some control X and control V instead of trying to change all the numbers. I think we are almost done. Roll number 79 is again missing, it seems. Perfect. So ensure that there are no duplicate entries in this first column. We have all the ascending numbers from, so we have roll number still 83, 84. Okay. So we have roll number still 84. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add here one more entry. This is for me. So I'm going to be roll number 85, right? Which is the last roll number. The exercise which we are going to do today is we are going to shake hands. So what you have to do, so you can see I'm making the changes here at this very last location. So mine is roll number 85. So I'm going to write something here. What I'm going to write here is the roll numbers of those people with whom I want to do a handshake. So assume that I'm interested to do a handshake with roll number 15, 30 and 45. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to write a 15, comma, 30, comma, 45. No spaces here and there. So no space after comma or before comma. 15, comma, 30, comma, 45. That is my second column. So the people with whom I want to shake hands. So you might be knowing the roll numbers of your friends with whom you want to shake hands. So you're going to type in there. If you don't know, you can quickly WhatsApp them and ask them for their roll number. In the last column, I'm just going to write this number. So there are 3 people with whom I want to do a handshake. So ensure that you enter less than or equal to 10 people with whom you want to do a handshake. So assuming that you want to do a handshake with very close friends, so you can start populating this sheet and type in here your friends with whom you want to do a handshake. I'll keep a tab on this sheet, and based on your activity, I'll also type in the roll numbers of some of the students with whom I want to do a handshake. So go ahead and fill this sheet. So fill in the second column and the third column also. If something is unclear, you can ask me. Is roll number 80 there? Yes, roll number 80 is there. Roll number 55. Who is roll number 55? So you have to have commas between two subsequent numbers. So it's, yeah, perfect. Now it's perfect. Roll number 39. No spaces after commas. Just remove all these spaces. Roll number 9 also spaces. Roll number 2 says I don't want to do any handshake with anyone. I can actually roll number 2, you can just remove it. So if you are not typing in anything there, that means that you are being way too protective. Corona doesn't spread online. After the last digit, you need not have a comma. So if there is just, if you have 3 friends, so when you type in the third roll number, you need not have a comma after that. I see some interesting patterns here. Roll number 1 goes mathematically. I want to shake hands with the next 5 roll numbers. Other people seem to be more strategic about their friends. You can type 9 just as 9 there. So no need, so if it's a 1-digit number, just type it in 1 digit. So instead of 09, you can just type a 9 there. Can anyone guess now what we are trying to do? Okay, we got many entries. Okay, I'm giving you 5 more minutes to fill this sheet, and after that we will start. Meanwhile, can someone guess what we are trying to do? Or you can raise your hands in case you have any doubt. So no more than 10 buddies with whom you want to shake your hands. Okay, I think you are done. One more minute. I think that will be sufficient. Can someone guess what we are trying to do? Yes, Sanjana says we are going to build a graph. That's exactly right. We are going to build a graph. So what will be the nodes in this graph? Nodes will be you, and the edges will be, we will see what exactly the edges will be. So what kind of a graph will it be? We have looked at various kinds of graphs: simple graphs, pseudo graphs, weighted graphs, directed graphs. What kind of a graph will it be? So although you can always type in the chat, but it will be helpful if times you can unmute yourself and speak. That will make it easy for me. Rishabh says it will be going to, it will be a directed graph. That's correct. It's going to be a directed graph. Because if person one says, I want to shake hands with, let's say roll number one says, I want to shake hands with roll number two, it's not necessary that roll number two also wants to do the same. Okay, you haven't filled in the column C. Can you just, everyone, can you fill column C also? It's the number of entries you made in the column 2 or the column B. Okay, keep filling. Okay. Uh, so if something is left here, you can keep filling this sheet. I'll just proceed further. So I have taken this entire sheet as CSV, and as Sanjana and I think Risha, just it's difficult to go to the chat. So Sanjana and Rishabh, I think, predicted that we are going to draw a graph here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this entire data in the form of a graph. So do not worry about the code at all. So once you'll work a bit with these languages, the code will automatically come to you, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that CSV and I'm going to create a graph out of that. So what will be there in this graph? So as you see in this Excel sheet, right? So these are the nodes. So how many nodes will be there in the graph? 85, one for each of us. How many edges will be there? the sum of all these entries in the column C. So 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, these many. Is it correct? Will we have these many edges? Do I sum all these up? We will talk about that. So we are going to have 85 nodes and some number of edges. Okay, let's just go back and look at that graph here. I'm just going to run this code here. It shows me an error. It's becoming a bit difficult to manage it. Okay, there's a small mistake here. Just give me a second. Okay. Now I have this graph being formed. I hope all of you can see my screen. Can someone just confirm you can see the graph?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to change it slightly. So this seems quite a clumsy graph. Let me change its layout. Yeah. So I hope you can see the graph. Okay. There seems to be some problem with it, right? So do you see this graph seems pretty connected? So if you ignore the arrows, no one is left out in the class. But if you look at the spreadsheet, there were so many people who actually didn't want to shake hands with anyone. As an example, look at this. So I'm not pointing to anyone, just look at it from the perspective of a graph. So it's no personal comment on anyone. If you look at this node here, this node actually doesn't want to shake hands with anyone, but if you see three people want to shake hands with this particular person, right? So that's the beauty of graphs. They become connected very soon. So we talked about sparse graphs, right? Which have a lot of zeros in the adjacency matrix. Lot of possible edges are not there. So even such graphs are connected. We'll talk about them. So I just wanted to show this graph to you. And now let's do a small exercise here. So this is interesting. I don't see a loop anywhere. So nobody actually wants to shake hands with themselves. Probably it doesn't make any sense. Someone could have done that. Then we would have seen a loop on one of the nodes here. Okay. Now what I want to do is we have said in this spreadsheet what you have filled is those people with whom you want to shake hands, right? So let's say one wants here to shake hands with two, but two doesn't want to do it. So actually you want accomplish a handshake here. So handshake will be done when both of the people want to shake hands with each other. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to convert this directed graph in an undirected graph where you will see the connections between two nodes if both of them mutually want to shake hands. So I'm going to do that. And after that, we will again visualize this graph. Just give me time. Okay. I think edges are yet to come in the right places. It needs some time. So does this graph look correct to you? Okay, there's a small mistake. I need to change it to G1, a mistake from my side. Yes. So you see this graph here now. So here now you see a lot of isolated vertices, and here you see a connection between two nodes only if both of them mutually want to shake hands with each other. So this is the graph. So you see that this big component is actually connected, right? So there are certain nodes which are outside this graph, but and do you observe these clicks here? So this is interesting. So it seems like a very good bunch of friends. So almost see everyone is connected here with everyone else. Same seems to be the case with these 7 nodes and here. And even despite that, there are people who are responsible for connecting the other two portions. So look at this person, 13 and 71, shaking hands with each other. If they wouldn't have chosen each other, this graph would have been split up into two different graphs. So this is generally what you observe with any real world graph. So this is one such real world network which we have formed now. So what you will see in most of the real world networks, there will be nodes with no connections, but most of the time there will be this one big component which is connected, which you won't be able to break down into smaller components. So we'll talk about this. Okay, here if you, I'm going to tell you some numbers. Can you predict what are these numbers? So for 28, I say that the number is 1. For node 71, I say the number is 2. For node 30, I say the number is 4. Can you tell me what I'm talking about?
The number of connected edges, maybe?
Yes. So I'm talking about number of connected edges or number of edges from that particular node, or your number of friends. If I say that this is a friendship network, and we call this the degree of a graph. Now we are going to see something interesting. If you add all the degrees of this graph, so I look at the degree of 28, the degree is 1, degree of 41 is 2. So I add 1 plus 2 for 41 plus 2 for 75 plus 5 for 61. And I keep adding this and I do it for every node in the network. So for node 65, again it is 1. For node 56, it is 1. For node 24, it is 0. I go on and I add all these numbers together. What do you think? Will this number be even or odd?
Node connecting things, the mutual connections, will they be odd or even?
Totally.
See, when there's a mutual connection where one person accepted the other person as a handshaker person, and the other one also wants to shake hands with the same person, then there's a line, right, that connects them both because
It has
it's a
to be
mutual-
divisible by 2, right? Because two people makes one bond. So I don't know. It should be
So I think it can be both, even or odd.
I was thinking what Shriyo guys said exactly, but then again, I
See,
put too little thought in that.
See,
yeah.
only
It's
if
intuition.
only if one person connected to the other and the other connected to you, then it forms just one line, right? It didn't form two lines.
Yeah, but that line counts to both of the degrees.
Yeah.
One edge will always count for both of those nodes.
I hope, yes, go on. Okay, Chaitanya says even. Any other answers? Someone who thinks it can be either even or odd, or it can be, it's odd always. Vignesh says it can be anything, it can be even or it can be odd. Rishabh says even. Okay, so we have majority saying that it is even. Okay, let's take some small graphs and see what is happening here. So let's say this is my graph. So I have two nodes, 1 and 2. Right? So what I have done is the degree of the first node here, the degree of this node here is 1 and the degree of this node here is 1. So I add 1 plus 1, it is 2. Let me take some other graph. Let's say this is my graph. A big complicated graph. So let's say I have 1. So the degree of this node is 2. Degree of this node is 2. It has a degree 3. It has a degree 2. It has a degree 1. 2 plus 2, 4 plus 2, 6 plus 3, 9 plus 1, 10. Try creating a graph in which this sum is odd. Let me try creating a graph and I want this sum to be odd. So I create one edge here. So as of now, I know that the sum will be 2. I have done this here. So I add one more node here, right? But even now, this is 1, this is 2, this is 1. So it's still 4. Let me add one more here. So this now becomes 3 and this becomes 1. It still remains even. Right? So no matter you take any graph and whenever you are going to sum the degrees of each of the nodes, or let's say the number of friends everyone has, and you sum it up, it's going to be an even number. Right? And what's all the more surprising is this even number which you are getting here is actually nothing, but it is 2 into the number of edges in your graph. So see here in these examples, here the sum was 2. I have one edge. So this is 2 times 1. In this case, the sum was 10. I have 5 edges here. In this case, the sum is 6. I have 3 edges here. Can you think of the reason behind it? So not only just it's an even number, but this number is 2 times the number of edges in your graph. What can be the reason for that? Any intuition?
I mean, for each edge, there will always be two nodes, and
Exactly.
both of those nodes will get counted in the degree. So,
Exactly. So this is our basic counting principle. So I hope that you have done some basic counting principle. So let me just visualize it, what is happening here. Let me just draw some graph here. Drawing a graph here. Let's say this is my graph. And let's see how do I count. So what I want to do, I want to add the degrees of these nodes here. So I'm going to add the degree of this node. So what is the degree of this node? So I'm going to add 1 for this. Let me rather use it. So I'm going to add 1 for this, 1 for this, and 1 for this. Hence the degree of this node is 3. Degree of this node, 1 for this, 1 for this. So I'm counting nothing, basically the number of these green points. So the degree of this second node here is 2. For this node here, 1 this, 1 this. So I have a 2 for this node. For this node here is 1 this, 1 this. And again I have a 2 here. And again 1 this. So I have a 1 over here. So this is the sum I'm talking about. Now what is this sum? This sum is nothing but the number of green points here in this graph. And now if you look at these green points, so you will see every edge has exactly 2 green points. So the number of these green points is nothing but 2 into the number of edges. So every edge is accounting for exactly 2 degrees in here. Okay. So this is called the handshaking lemma, that the sum of degrees of nodes in a graph is 2 times the number of edges in the graph. Okay. Let's try to solve this another puzzle. What do you think? So I'm showing you 2 graphs here. Just spend some time and tell me, what do you think? Are these graphs same or different? So assume that these graphs are nothing but they are the friendship between 5 people in your class. So what do you think, looking at the structure of this graph? Or are these graphs same or are they different? Take some time to think and then I'll randomly call some of you, or you can even unmute yourself and speak if you have something to say. Okay, Shubhradeep says yes, they are same. Mika says they are same. Okay, so they are actually the same graphs. So what I can do is I can just take this second graph here and I can convert it in the first graph. How? So assume that it's some piece of paper which is folded. So what I'm going to do, first I'll pull this C2 down. So when I pull this C2 down, I get something like this. So I'm pulling this C2 down. So this is my C1, C3, C5, C4, which are connected something like this. Right, these are the connections, and I have pulled C2 here. So C5 and C4 were connected to C2, so this graph becomes something like this. Now what I'm going to do, so I see this kind of crossing between C1, C3, C5, C4. I'll just dissolve this crossing. So I'll do, I'll just change the positions of this C3 and C1 here. Right. So how will it look like? C4 was connected to C1, C5 was connected to C3, C1 is connected to C3, and I have a C2 here. And these two structures are the same. So these two graphs are the same graphs, right? So if you write down the degrees of individual vertices in these graphs, let's say I'm writing the degrees here. So the degrees of the nodes in this case is something like 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. I call this a degree sequence. So when I'm just writing the degrees of a graph, if you see the degrees of all the nodes here, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, right? So these two are nothing but the same graphs.
Ma'am, but in the first graph, isn't C2 connected to C1, and the final version of the second graph, C2 is connected to C5 and C4?
Okay. So note one thing, this thing here, I think it's not clearly visible. It is E3. Right? The labeling of both the graphs are different. So in the first one, we have used E1, E2, E3. In the second one, we have used C1, C2, C3. But you are right. So E2 is connected to E3 here, but C2 is not connected to C3 here, right? So what I have to do, I have to write down the correct mapping of the vertices here. So what you are saying is correct. The mapping here is wrong. E2 is not same as C2. E3 is not same as C3. Can you tell me what E2 is same as? So if I see in this graph, so I can say that E2 is actually the same as this here, C2, and then C2 is connected to C5 and C4. So I can say that E1 is nothing but C5, and then what is E3? E3 is nothing but C4, and then I have E5. E5 is connected to E1. So I see what is connected to C5. It is C3, and what is left is E4. Now do you see they are same? So if I say that E2 is C2, E1 is C5, E3 is C4, E5 is C3, and E4 is C1. Now that is the correct mapping. So the structure of these two graphs are exactly the same. So it is something like this. Let's say I draw this graph and I say that this graph is ABC, and I create another graph here and I say that in this graph, let's say this is C, this is A, this is B. So actually both of these graphs are same. I have just permuted the labels of the vertices. So here I can say that there is a mapping. So this A here is a B here, this C here is a C here, and this B here is an A here. Is it clear? If you have any doubt, ask me. So such kind of graphs which are structurally same, we call them the isomorphic graphs. So when do I say? So if you go by its formal definition, so isomorphic graphs are two graphs where I can give a mapping like this. So I can uniquely map every vertex here to every other vertex here. So I map these vertices and the mapping should be in such a way that the edges now match. So if I'm mapping E2 to C2 and let's say E3 to C5, so here if an edge exists between E2 and E3, here there should be an edge between C2 and C5. So in general, let's say I take any graph. Take any graph. Let's say it's your classroom network which we just built, and I just change that network, pull some vertex there and pull some edge accordingly. I change the positions of all those vertices. I relabel all those vertices. The graph remains the same. The structure of the graph remains the same. What changes is just the label of the nodes. The number of edges, how those edges are connected, what kind of a structure the graph represents, that remains the same. I'll just stop with this session with a small motivation. So of what use is this? So we are studying that these graphs are isomorphic and graphs can be structurally the same, but why study all this? Can you think of a practical application of this where it can be used? So such things you can, what is Rapredeni? I don't know this. Abhinav, can you just tell us what is this? Okay, to represent data. So we are using graphs to represent data, yes. And it says that we might actually have two adjacency matrices, and those adjacency matrices might look different, but they actually are representing the same graph. So if you pull some vertices here and there, okay, I'll tell you one of the practical applications of this. So one thing you must realize before that is, so this is here. So it's a puzzle kind of thing. Assume that there is this person Ram, and Ram has his grandfather. His grandfather is a very renowned person, so everybody knows him. He is a very rich man, and what he wants is that once he dies, all his money should be given to someone, right? And that someone has to go to the court to acclaim that money. So nobody as of now knows who is the grandchild of this person. So he keeps it secret from the entire world. But what he wants, once he dies, all his money should go to his grandson. But he cannot reveal the name of the grandson. So what he will do is, he'll actually make some kind of key. We'll talk about what that key is, and he'll give it to his grandson. And he'll say, once I die, you go with this key to the court, and the court will give you all my money. What is that key? Okay, so I'm going to talk about that key now. So here is the grandson. He goes to the court. He says, "Me, give me the money." And here is a lady. She says, "Show me the mapping." So the key is the mapping. So I'll stop here. Think about this, how the key can be this mapping, why it can be the mapping, what I am asking you, and we'll take it from here in the next lecture. We still have 5 minutes. Okay, we still have 5 minutes. I'll just tell you this thing. What do you think? How difficult or easy to make the isomorphism of a graph? Let's say I give you a graph with 100 nodes, and I say, okay, create another graph which is isomorphic to this graph. So this is easy for you. You can pull around the vertices, change their directions, bring a top vertex to the bottom, take a vertex which is in the east to the west. You do all these things, and then you change all the labels. You make Naveen Mohan, make Mohan Sohan, so on and so forth. So you change the positions of all the nodes, you change the labels of all the nodes, and you give it to me, and you say this is the isomorphic graph. And you ask me, whether do you think both of these graphs are isomorphic? How difficult do you think is it for me to tell? So I've shown you another example here, this graph on the left and the graph on the right. So the previous example was a simple one. Can you see here and tell me, are these two graphs the same? Are they isomorphic? Do you think these two graphs are isomorphic? So I'll leave it to you to think here, and we'll take it from here in the next lecture. If you have any doubts, you can ask. We have 5 minutes. So from the next lecture onwards, all of us will try to keep our videos on so that we can have a better interaction. We don't sleep during the classes and stuff. So make sure all of you are in a position to switch your cameras on. You have 5 minutes. Ask me if you have any doubts. Take this question as a puzzle here. We'll discuss it. Okay, Shubhradeep has actually solved it. He says that yes, they are isomorphic. So this lady, so assume that you are the grandson and now you go to the court, then this lady is going to say, if they are isomorphic, tell me how. Give me the mapping. So probably Shubhradeep has this mapping as of now. So all of you figure this out, figure out what is the mapping here. Are these two graphs the isomorphic? The motivation here is this solving this graph isomorphism problem. If you have heard of it in your theory of computation classes, I hope that was a subject before to you. This is an NP complete problem. By NP complete, we mean that solving this problem cannot be solved in linear time. So again, this is a graph here with 8 nodes. What if I give you a graph with 1,000,000 nodes? How difficult will it be for you to tell me whether they are isomorphic or not? So do you see here, creating a graph which is isomorphic to another graph is very easy, right? But if someone gives you two graphs, telling whether they are isomorphic or not is difficult. But yes, if that person gives you the mapping, you can check whether those two graphs are isomorphic or not. So given the mapping, checking it is very easy. Creating an isomorphic graph is also very easy. But given two graphs, telling whether they are isomorphic or not is very difficult. So what that grandfather has done, he has actually taken a 20 million node graph, changed the positions of the nodes, changed the label of the nodes, made a very huge isomorphic graph, and he has given the mapping to his grandson. So anybody else in the world doesn't know of this mapping, and to solve this mapping is a really difficult task since this problem is NP complete. So once the papa dies, the son can go to the court, he can show the mapping and take the money. Think about it, let it sink in, and we'll take it from here in the next session. Any doubts are welcome. Jayant, what is the meaning of isomorphic? Are you asking me in English what is its meaning? Iso actually means same and morphic means structure. So two things which have the same structure, we call them isomorphic. Here we say that the two graphs are isomorphic if their edge connections are the same. So let me put it this way. So a triangle is a graph, right? So if I see you two triangles with different node labels, so both of these graphs, their set of vertices are different in the sense that these vertices have different labels, but still both of these are triangles. They are the same graph. What if I give you a square? That's also a graph, right? What if I give you a star network? Let's say a node in the middle which is connected to 99 other nodes. I give you another star graph, a node in the middle connected to 99 other nodes, only the labels are different. So that is what we mean by isomorphic. Two exactly same graphs, which might look different because of how the vertices are positioned. So let's say, I'll just write it here. So see, if I say that it is a square graph, right? So this is a square graph, right? What if I show you a graph like this? I think it goes like this. Just give me, let's say this is A, B, C, D. I'm going to write it here like this. This is A, this is B, and this is C, this is D, right? So A and B are connected, C and D are connected. These two are connected, and these two are connected, right? These two are actually the same graph. The only difference is how I have positioned the vertices. In addition, what I can do is, instead of having this ABCD here, I'll write it like this. I'll say that, okay, this is my A, this is my B, this is my C, this is my D. So actually both of these two graphs are same. What differs is how the position of these vertices, how I have positioned them, and the labels of these vertices. So generally we use different labels to avoid confusion. So you can use a E, F, G, H here instead of A, B, C, D. And then you can ask this question whether both of these graphs are same or not. So I've actually just played around a bit with this graph and obtained this. So both of these two graphs here are isomorphic. Abhinav, I have used iGraph in R to map this CSV to graph. So there are a lot of packages to do that. You can use iGraph in Python. You have another package, NetworkX in Python. Now you can use any of those. Okay, I think time's up. If you can leave, the class is over. And if someone has any doubt, you can stay back and ask me.